Greg, here we are, episode 9, I believe, and today's one that I wanted to get straight into is the stories that we tell ourselves. So I welcome again, Greg.
Thank you, Willie. Welcome
Yeah,
you.
here we go back again. So
Yep.
straight into it, there's some pretty good questions here, and I know that you're the guru and the right person to be able to answer these and to help us dissect it all. So our first question for today is, why do we believe negative stories about ourselves?
Upbringing, environment. The program is set at a very early age in our life. You let around a bit, like the first 7 years really get set in, but there's also DNA, comes down through DNA, through history, through family, all that type of thing. So we're carrying a story all the time. Everybody carries their story. Most people are unaware that they are doing that.
So, in one word, just to go on from that one, you could be really unlucky if your DNA's, if you've got some pretty heavy stuff in the DNA, but you can pull yourself out of that, and that's one of our next questions. But so you've already answered sort of thing like, where do these stories come from? So a lot of it comes from all that DNA, etc. But how much of our identity is built from childhood?
The first 7 years is absolutely critical. So we know, say it comes down through DNA. It's very much like your looks. You know, people that look like their ancestors or their grandfather or something like that. Like Bob Proctor always told the story about how he was ginger-headed. He had red head, and yet his mother and father, his brothers and sisters, nobody had red head, but his father's uncle, his father's brothers and relations further back up had the red hair. So it sort of missed the generation and then hit again.
Yeah.
So that's where your DNA, there's all sorts of things come through with how you're thinking. But the number one really is from the minute, it even starts from when you were first conceived. As soon as you're in mum's tummy there, so there's a lot going on, how mum's handling everything that's happening at the time. You're a part of that. So, and then when you get into the environment, in those first 7 years of the life, you're really vulnerable. You're learning to eat, you're learning to walk, you're learning to talk, you're learning all that. So you're taking on everything in that environment. Those programs are setting. In fact, in those first very early days of your life, you're not consciously aware.
Yeah.
You can hear, see, smell, taste, touch, but everything is inductive. You're just taking everything in that's around you. You're in a massive learning state, and the body is actually picking up real fast on everything that's happening around them. So that's where the programs start.
So it goes to show really how much impact that environment in those first, what do they call it, the
Big
first
time.
1,000 days or something like that.
Big time.
Yeah.
And then after that, see what happens is, it's the old story, is once it started, then you start attracting more of the same. So as you get older, you've already got that base in there. Now you're starting to attract that same energy to you again, whether it was negative energy. If it was negative energy, well, guess what? You're going to keep on. Things are going to happen. If it was positive, well, great things are going to happen too. So, or if negative things happen with a real positive person, they know how to reassess it, and they use their perception to see it as not a big problem. They see it as an opportunity.
I think that comes down to the last conversations we had in our last episode, and comes down to that awareness as well. And when you're aware, then you can make different decisions and choices as well.
Yeah.
So no, really good one on that. And then, how do limiting beliefs affect our future?
Oh, massive. They can actually sabotage your future, big time, big time. This is what I do. You know, this is what I love about what I do, is because these were the things that I found out about myself. And the interesting thing is the more I found out about me, the more I found out about everybody's the same.
Yep.
When I found out what was my limiting beliefs were and how I changed after I become aware of them, and then changed them, then totally. It's not a matter of just changing. It's about the idea of becoming aware of it, and then changing to your perception of it, which is one of our higher faculties that we use in our training and teaching. that is an invaluable asset that we all carry. A lot of people don't realise it.
No.
Perception is absolutely massive, and it's
Yeah.
a higher faculty that can help us through these sort of things, change that awareness.
And like you just said, if we're not aware of it, or the perception as well, and just you can't change anything. You don't know what you don't know until you know, and I really do love that one there. On to our next one. So this is the big question that myself, but a lot of other people will definitely be wanting to know, is can we rewrite our story?
Absolutely. Absolutely. However, not unless you're aware of it again.
Yeah.
See, awareness is everything. You've got to become aware. I was 39 years and I wasn't aware of this information. I talked about it last week. I wasn't aware of this information at 39. Now, the funny thing is I was living a pretty good life. I was pretty successful in my business. I had a great family. I had all the toys. I had a house. I had everything was wonderful, to be honest. But I wasn't aware of this information. I had a belief system back then that it was all about, you were lucky, you had to work hard, and if you got it, that was great. But you can also get called into the idea that you have to struggle to survive. Successful people, they have to walk on other people and all this sort of rubbish. There's all sorts of stories that you can tell. Before my awareness, I had that belief system around that. But yeah, definitely you can change it. And it really comes down to self-image.
Yeah.
Self-image is the big thing, and that's the driver of the program. It's what you believe in yourself. And the big thing is how do you change that? Well, there are people that have got strong beliefs. We have wars over beliefs. Cultures have got all different. Cultures are no different. They're paradigms. They're just belief systems in different cultures. That's all there is to it. Everybody, no matter where you go, religion, churches, they've got different cultures. They've got different belief systems. No matter where you go, it's all about everybody believes in something. And if somebody else doesn't believe in it, well, that's where people sort of say, I'm right, no, I'm right.
And contrast.
And again, coming back to perception, when you come back to perception and understanding, and then you get more information or more knowledge of understanding of who you are and what's going on, you start realizing this program that we're talking about here is it's running, and you can reevaluate your belief system. That's how you change a belief. If you reevaluate it, because the reason is ego. There's all sorts of things we strongly believe. Like I said, up until I was 39 years old, I'd have beliefs that I was strong about, and I would fight for them, as much as I thought, well, no, that's the way it is. That's how it goes. But now I'm well aware is what a load of rubbish. Have a reevaluate what you were thinking. Where did you get that idea from? Where did you get your belief from? And as we just said there before, it might have come from the first 7 years of your life before you had any sort of an awareness, and you certainly didn't have a conscious awareness of what was going on. You didn't have an opinion until you got older, and then you fought back on that a lot more. But when you were young, you didn't. It was virtually, you believed everything that was come at you. Now, if you still believe that and you've got older and you haven't checked it out and gone into awareness and then reevaluated whatever that was, then you're really living in the past, and your future doesn't look good. But so you can definitely change, and that's what I do is help you understand, because that's what these podcasts are all about. Help you understand, then you can reevaluate what you believe as your belief, and then you can actually look at it. And if it's not a belief that you really like and you're happy with, and you think it's the truth, reevaluate, do some research on it and find out. There will be somebody absolutely that has an opposite opinion of what you've got there, and that they can actually give you, the funny thing about it, everybody can give you research and proof on whatever it is, whether it's what you believe or what you don't believe. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody can argue for that side. Politicians are great at it.
All right, we won't go too much into politics on this one though, but I do like that, because it's the same within the physical world as well, with the physical training, and it's just the belief system in people as well. And I could never do that. I could never do a push-up. I could never do that kind of exercise. Oh, you're crazy. You go in the ocean. It's like, yeah, I get cold as well. But it's down to this mindset. And then once we start to be aware and discover and reevaluate, like you just said, it's a really good one to just reevaluate where you are right now, where you'd like to be, and then, okay, well, what are the process, like the steps and which direction, how we're going to get towards that. And that's the journey that we get to go on, and that's where you make people aware with your mind, and their minds, I should say. So going into our next one, what if some people stay trapped in the past while others grow beyond it?
Well, some people enjoy it. There's a lot. There's so much to this, Willie.
Yeah.
It's not about not just being aware of things that are happening to you, but we also take on some paradigms, belief systems that we actually like, even though they're not good for us, right? And so we will fight for them. And so some people have an old belief: you can't teach me. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. I was about to say the same one.
And that would be a great one. And people say, well, they're still the same. I was talking with my son yesterday. We were talking about people we've known for years and years. They haven't changed. They're still doing the same things that they were doing when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And so what's that? Is they're just stuck, and they think that that's the way it is. Can they change, and why do successful people? Well, successful people usually have a goal. They want to go ahead. They want to get things done, and they actually know that if they really put their heart to it, they can make it happen. And then if they set goals, and if they talk around information, personal development's been around long enough now. Way back in the 60s and that, back in Earl Nightingale's day and that, there was a lot of things he couldn't say then because the general public wouldn't accept it. Because there was sort of two different ways of looking at it. There was either religion or science, and they were pretty staunch in those areas. Whereas now there's a lot of awareness around personal development. There's books and there's programs, and so people are more aware of it. So there's no reason for anybody to be stuck. But a lot of people, like I say, these people, this information's been around. I smile quite often. I read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich was my biggest book I ever read. 250 pages, I read it in 3 days. Why do I say that? Because I never read a book over 5 pages prior to that in 39 years. I wasn't interested, but I read this book. So something changed when I went to Mind Powers, and things, all of a sudden I started doing things that I would never normally do.
And would that be that reevaluation of where you were at that time?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard something that I realised that I didn't know, and what was so silly about it, it was about thinking and thoughts. And everybody would say, what do you mean you didn't know about thoughts and that? No, you didn't know. I didn't know about how they controlled you and how your evaluation of your thoughts have you actually stuck where you are right now. And once you become aware of how you're thinking, how you're behaving, and how you're getting, why you're not getting results that you want, then you can start reevaluating them and change all that.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is where I was going with the book was Napoleon Hill. He wrote that was back in 1937. Now I knew my grandfather and grandparents who were just absolutely awesome people. I lived a lot of my life with them, and a young life. And I often think, well, how come Grandpa never talked to me about Napoleon Hill? Because the book was available then, but he wasn't talking about it. The information wasn't as wide
available
as it is now.
Yeah,
it is. It's just so available, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's less and less reason for people to be stuck, and less reasons for people to really not get what they want and move forward and move their success. You've often heard me talk about. Your yearly income can quite easily become your monthly income.
Yeah.
And for most people, hearing that would just say, what a ridiculous statement. And yet it's crazy, because why don't you know? You're just not aware how to make your yearly income a monthly income.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
That's
a lot of it would be that self-belief, because I sit there and think, oh, man, yeah, I agree. But it's like, if I actually put in the right time, effort, energy in the right places, But it's so easy to just get caught up in those comfort zones, like we said in the other weeks. Fluff around, do other things that feel good in that moment. And I know we're not robots, but it's easy to just
I'll give
go
you
back to your comfort.
I'll give you a little secret. This is a little secret tip here, Willie.
Oh no, he's going to expose me live.
No, the thing is people, just what you said there, a lot of people know, they look at it and they think, oh yeah, maybe I could earn my yearly income in a month. But they don't, because they have too many other little paradigms and belief systems that are holding them in their place. For instance, people would say, what are you talking about? Why wouldn't you want to earn your yearly income in a month? Well, some people's paradigm in the background is, I don't deserve success. I don't deserve to be like that. Another one would be, if I got successful, I made that much money, all my friends wouldn't talk to me anymore. They'd pull me down and say, who are you now? You're a big shot. And now because what would happen in that? You are changing your environment just by growing. And that's right there, Willie, is a lot of reasons people will not grow, because they do not want to change their environment. They're happy. They're in a comfort zone. They like to go down and meet at the club every week, and they like to have a few drinks and laughs and whatever it is, and then go home, and they like to watch TV. They like to do different things. They don't want to disrupt that, but they don't realise that they can have a better life. They can actually do better and
enjoy those things.
But the thing that I found is the more you go for, if you're looking at wealth, the more people you can help.
Yeah.
The more foundations you can contribute to.
Yeah.
You can give to like, well, my favourite foundation is a Westpac helicopter. Another one is Children's Starship Hospital. Right? And another one's St. John's Ambulance. These things, those people, the government don't run those. I was shocked when I found out that. They have to be privately, the people have to raise money. They get a certain amount of grant, but they don't get the money. So
Hospice another one too,
absolutely.
I believe, yeah.
And there's actually hundreds of people like that. Now, to be truthful, I have some of the foundation, when I have questions, they says, well, to be honest, Greg, we would rather run it ourselves, to be honest, than have it controlled.
Yeah.
And we know all about that. So, so what could you do with the wealth? You see, a lot of people think, oh, no, I don't want to buy the big boat, or I don't want the big house and all that. You don't have to. You can live the life you are and then contribute to the life. And I tell you what, your friends and that would be quite impressed that you gave your money to somebody else to help them, rather than, pulled up in the big gold watch and the big fancy car outside and whatever.
I love this. All right, we'll keep moving on. We've got 3 more questions. So what is oh no, that was the one that we just answered. How does someone begin believing in themselves again?
Well, they've got to change the story. They've got to change it. And there is a story, so they've got to change that story. But the first thing is they got to want to.
Yeah.
And that's why we go back to goal setting. It gives you a destination. It gives you a target. It gives you something to aim for. We talked about it last week as well. Is when you've got something to aim for, when you even get off track, all of a sudden you realise, hang on, I'm not going to where I want to be It's very similar like when you go on a trip. If you're going on travelling, you says, right, I've got a destination. I want to be at Wellington. I've got to be there at a certain time. It may be on Wednesday next week. Well, you've got to find a plan and how you're going to get down there. And if you start heading north and just wandering away up there, you'd be thinking, well, why am I going here? I've got an appointment. I need to be in Wellington. So you straight away start making actions and planning and focusing on being in that position. Life's the same, your goals, where you want to be going. So, yeah, definitely, you can aim for, you've got to have a goal to pull you through, and that's the way, or some sort of ambition that you want to achieve.
Just helps give that direction, and what are the stepping stones to get to Wellington in that direction.
Yeah.
All right, and here we go. What's the difference between your past and your potential?
Well, your past is massive to help you move and once you find, again, we come back to awareness. But when
Awareness.
you become aware of who you are, there's so many great things in your past. The strengths that you are very, very strong at, you can pull them forward and help you propel you into your future and get you move you forward.
There's so much to learn from our past.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But there's a lot of things that you don't want to repeat. There's a lot of things that when you become aware, you look back and you realise, oh, okay, I did that. But everything, yeah, it's all good. You all, everything you're doing, whether you're, having a bad day or having a bad run, sometimes that teaches you. Like I says, how do you know a good day if you don't have a bad one?
Yeah.
So if everything was just the same and nothing changed, we're humans. We like variety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've been looking at some things that I've made in the past, whether it's through relationships, connections, friends, family, the whole lot. And I think we spoke about this the other week, just you and I offline, and it's about putting the why to it as well. Why did that happen? Why did I act like this? And really start to have those in-depth moments with yourself, having that awareness. And I've had a massive one recently, and it's been so good for me because, yeah, that times might be difficult or challenging, we can say, I like to use, challenging in that moment, but it's like, what am I learning from this? And why am I learning this? Why is this happening to me? What have I done to be getting this result or lack of results? And it's just a really great tool, and I'm just lucky to have, like yourself, my wife, people around me that do help me challenge myself as well. And having that awareness, like there's sometimes where I'd be sort of down and or oh, why is this happening to me, or I can't believe it. But it's like, well, you said it last week, is we created it. We create this discomfort that we're having right now. And that's been, I'm so blessed and I'm so stoked that, yeah, I have gone down this track because it's made me really think deeply about what do I really want? Okay, what is important to me? What are my values? And this is why it's been so important for me to grow, to realize, to be aware. And now it's like, right, now I need to have my goal that you're saying, Greg. Now I need to have a bit of direction of, well, if that's not what you didn't like, what do you like? And what does that look like? And what's the directions to get to that life and what you're wanting to do to have your own personal success?
Yeah, it all comes back to, we keep talking about it all the time, but awareness and becoming aware. And like I said, up until I was 39 years old, I wasn't, you just didn't understand why that question when you say, why did that happen? Oh, not again. Why? Oh, no, what?
What's this happening to me?
And then you hear, what do you hear? How many people do you hear? No, I'm not going to do that because last time when I did that, oh my gosh, what happened? And they're not aware of what. See, now you're looking at it from a totally different view.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at it really in a way. You're looking at it as, like I says, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. When you actually look at it like that, then you're observing what you're doing here. You're observing and you're thinking, well, okay, while I'm here, am I actually, finding my purpose, doing what I've come here to do? And you start looking at it a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
See, so many people are living on by, well, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just, that's it. We live, we die, that's it. So what? And you miss so much. You miss so much of what's there because when you're aware of where you are, it's like, imagine you're going to some beautiful resort and you've got your eyes closed the whole time there. And in the mind, you're thinking that you're in some hellhole. And, you're thinking, life's not good for me. Well, you've got to open your eyes, have a look around and then start enjoying the scenery and take part in wherever you are at the time.
Well,
and
just on that,
the same.
It's really easy to get complacent, get comfortable, take things for granted, and all the beautiful things that you actually do have in your life, it just becomes your normal, and you think, oh well, that's normal, and you know where I'm going on this one, but it's like it sometimes takes, I think you use like a traumatic moment in life or something, I can't remember the term that you use, or some people might have like a near-miss accident or in their life, and some of those moments, near-death experience, and that can be like a wake-up call. And So for those that we don't want everyone to have a crazy wake up call or anything like that. So what's some little tip that, I mean, it is awareness, that we can give to people out there to make themselves think a little bit differently and become self-aware or start to recognize what they do have in their lives and what's the good in this about it?
Number one is that a lot of people would ask, well, why do I need to become aware? Well, if you haven't got a goal, it's going to be hard to actually want to become aware and find out about this stuff. You need a destination. It's like I says about the Wellington trip. When you've got a destination, when you've got somewhere to go, then you know you've got to start taking actions and planning towards doing that. You imagine in your life, if you've got no destination, if you've not got nowhere to go and you're just living day by day.
Yep.
For some people, that's fine.
Yep.
If they're happy in their skin doing that, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's a lot of people ask the question is, why is this happening to me? Why can't I get, why have they got that and I haven't got that? Well, it's because you're not aware of who you are. So you've got to set a goal for a starter. And then you start on that journey of understanding what are you doing that's not moving you forward towards it. And the big thing here, Willie, I've been doing a lot of work on it this week, is realizing there is a lot of pockets of little programs you've got sitting in the background there that are absolutely sabotaging you. But there's a lot of pockets you've got that you're very strong at and you've done some absolutely fantastic things in life. Well, here's the secret. What you've got to do is find those, live those, get the feeling, and then pull them forward and then start using them in what you're doing to move you forward. So you start bringing that feeling and that understanding of whatever that state of mind or wherever you are in that time when you enjoy doing it, pick it up and then turn it into the thing that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Because if you're not achieving what you want to, there's a pocket of sabotage that's sitting in there, and you can push as much as you like, and you're going to have trouble going against it.
Yeah.
Constant spaced repetition is going to do it, but at the same time, is if it is that deep and it's really strong, you can keep doing that forever, and it won't happen because you'll end up, like we say, the old paradigm will start finding a way to sabotage you and pull you back. So it's good to find what some of these pockets are and then utilize them to strengthen you.
Yeah.
So what you're strong at, enjoy those moments and go back and from the past and think what are some of the great things? What are great things that have happened? And then go in there and live with those and then bring them forward and say, okay, now how can I use these to move me forward in my goal now? Use these, because there were certain things, when you were enjoying those moments, you were in line.
Yeah.
You were in line with all the good things, and all the negative stuff was out to the side. Sometimes the negative is what pulls you through.
Yep.
But because of anger and all that, you'll actually, like I always says, my rugby days, a lot of it I played it in the negative because it was angry. But I've also had a self-discovery in myself, realising that it wasn't really anger, it was a way of showing my power because I didn't think I was enough.
Yeah.
And when I was on that field, I was an opportunity to show the power that I was, and I was able to actually really be very strong in that area. And it covered up for the weaknesses and that I was always covering up in the background.
That's
where
huge.
I didn't think I was strong, and where I thought I was, dumb. I didn't do well at school. All these things. I was always in trouble. All these sort of things, and I've even found out another thing lately this week with a lot of stuff that I've been doing is that even when you're around, I used to hang out with kids that weren't really. Not all of them. Some of them were good friends, but some of the friends I had were always in trouble. And I found out this week is a lot of the reasons why I like to hang around those, because I didn't feel like I fitted, and they were always felt like they were a misfit. So when you hang with that company, you feel like you're hanging with people on the same page. And it's a sad thing, but that's exactly why. There's a lot of things, Willie, you'd know now with those young guys.
Yeah.
They're hanging out with people like that because they don't feel they're fit, most probably at home or in their family and all that sort of thing. So they're going and doing things where they feel like, well, I'm not wanted anyway, so I might as well hang with the people that don't feel like they're fitting in either. So
no, you've nailed it there.
Yep.
No, well, this is some real gold here, and it's quite amazing how all our the episodes all sort of intertwine into parts of the episodes that we're doing right now and these conversations that we're having, and there is so much goodness. And it doesn't matter if we do repeat the odd thing because some people might not have heard any of the other ones anyway. So I think for anyone that might be listening, there's so many good things to be able to take from each episode. I'm guessing you're not wanting to sit there and listen to them all, but there is some really good things to just help personal development, helping people have healthier, positive lives, the environments that we put ourselves in, everything around the mindset, because it all starts with the mind. Before you do any other actions, it's what we think, what we create, and I'm just so grateful to be able to learn more and more from you, Greg. I really enjoy these just for my own personal self-development, and it might sound very selfish, but I get to use it like this, and I've been using it even with a lot of my clients. But I really recommend for anyone to be able to jump on your webinar and the free one that you give out on the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way for people to be able to connect and to find more out about themselves and to be able to get on the right track, and then yeah, you can guide them from there. But massive appreciation, mate. It was a quick turnaround from our last one, but I look forward to catching up for the next one. And yeah, you have a great rest of your week, mate.
Yeah, you too, Willie. Thanks very much again.
Oh, awesome. Cheers, mate.
All right, see you later.